statues. That's the latest count. 5 statues of 4 different historical leaders have been targeted, vandalized, toppled in the last 48 hours. What started with the toppling of Lenin's statue in Tripura soon after the BJP swept the state has turned into a game of tit for tat. From Meerut to Kolkata to Vellore, statues are being targeted. The real target, though, is who these leaders represent in the current political spectrum. There has been widespread condemnation of this violence from Amit Shah and CPM leaders as well. But what does it say about the nature of our political democracy when an electoral victory has to be celebrated with the need to wipe out your opponent's political existence? To speak on this, I am joined today by senior journalist Neerja Choudhury and Nilanjan Mukophadhyay. Thank you so much for speaking with us this evening. Ms. Choudhury, if we look at what has been happening in the last 48 hours, what are the signs that you see of where our politics is heading? Is this turning into a sharp left versus right fight?
You know, I think it's absolutely unprecedented in 2 ways. I don't remember an election victory being followed by violence of this kind by groups on behalf of the winning side. I remember in 1996, which was very, very difficult period, when you had Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government for 13 days, and then it couldn't last, and then you had to cobble together a united front government of chief ministers, and then they managed to survive, supported by the Congress. You know, the point I'm making is, even through those turbulent times, the transition of power took place peacefully. And this is an aspect about our democracy of which we've been very proud. Elections take place, bitter battles are fought, enemies are worsted, and yet the change of guard takes place very smoothly. Indira Gandhi, who was routed in 1977 after the emergency, completely wiped out in North India, made way for the Janata Party. Now they are making way, but so much violence. This is a very worrying kind of development. That's one part. The right versus left ideological battle that you've talked about. Yes. It has its own place. The left that for 25 years had its own icon, statues of Lenin. The new regime can come and put up their icons. Ideological battles go on. But to bring down statues and the tit for tat that you're talking about, again icons, Periyar in Tamil Nadu, Ambedkar, they're icons in their communities. What does it say about the future of our democracy? I find it a very, very worrying development that's taking place.
Let me come to Nilanjan Mukophadhyay on the reactions we've seen and the conversations around it. There has been comments like, why cry about Lenin? He was an autocrat in his own right. Is that really important at this point? Lenin especially has been singled out because look at the other statues which have been targeted. There's Periyar, there's Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, there's Ambedkar, all, Indian national heroes or, icons which are revered by different sections of society. Lenin is the outsider. Do you think that's a diversion from what this issue is really about?
First of all, whether Lenin was a dictator, was a terrorist, as Subramanian Swamy labeled him, was a tyrant, is a completely different story. I do not think either Twitter or the streets of any part of India or even a television program is really the appropriate channel to discuss it threadbare. The point is that Lenin remains in history as a person who brought the issue of working class rights to center stage. Good, bad or ugly, the point is that he's left an indelible mark on history, and there are political forces for whom he is a hero, and they are free to think that way, and there would be different groups who are free to think that this person was an absolute tyrant and need not be celebrated. But there is a way to express it. You do not take law in your hand. You do not use a victory to settle ideological scores on the streets of the country. After all, we have had a very vibrant democracy. We have changed mandates with great flair, and we take great, we were extremely proud of the kind and the the bloodless manner in which we have been able to change regimes.
Yes.
Now, this kind of lumpenism and vandalism which goes on in the name of stamping the authority of the present against the past regime is something which is a very new phenomenon in Indian politics. It has basically started since 2014 on. It's a very unfortunate development. We've had a very long period of 6 years when we had the BJP as one of the leading, as a leader of the coalition which headed the first ever stable non-Congress government. We never had that kind of problem, probably because the leaders of that time knew that there is a basic law and rule of democracy which must be adhered
to. So, to be fair today, and I'm going to come to Neerja first with this in a quick response, please. Do you take comfort in the fact that Amit Shah has said very vocally that anyone associated with the BJP caught in these acts of vandalism will be treated with severely?
I welcome that very much. And I hope the Prime Minister has also made a statement, but an equally strong statement, that this is not part of what they want and that people will be penalized, Otherwise, this is going to just spread. That's point number one. Point number two, some BJP people have said, Lenin, an outsider. Why should we have statues of outsiders? Tomorrow, people in other countries will say, we don't want Gandhi's statue. Gandhi's statue has been installed in many countries. And will they also turn around and say, we don't want outsider ideologies? So I think it's a very narrow way of thinking. Tomorrow another government comes and in the central hall of parliament you have all these pictures of people who've been part of our history. You can agree with some, disagree with others, look up to some, look down at others, which is part of our diversity. Will they come and say, I agree with so-and-so, but I disagree and I dismantle it all? And the next lot will come and say, I dismantle my lot. There's no end to this. So ours has been a, live and let live democracy. And if you take away those broader principles underlying it, then it's a very slippery slope for our parliamentary democracy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Neerja, Choudhury, Nilanjan, Mukophadhyay, for speaking with us today. Just to remember that 43% of the electorate did vote for CPM in Tripura. Yes, they did lose out, but it wasn't like their support base has vanished. That's something which perhaps parties need to keep in mind as well.